The wealthy don't make decisions the way most people do. They follow a set of psychological rules that most of us never even notice. They're not just playing the same game with more money. They are playing a different game entirely. A game where the rules are tilted in their favor, not by chance, but by design. So, what are these hidden rules? Let's start with one of the most powerful, the power of asymmetric decisions. When you hear about a billionaire making a bold move, you might think they're a high-stakes gambler. But that's not the full picture. The wealthy don't chase big wins at all costs. They chase asymmetric outcomes. What does that mean? It means they look for opportunities where the potential reward is massively disproportionate to the risk. They are searching for situations with a small, contained downside and an enormous, almost unlimited upside. Think about it this way. Most people operate on symmetrical risks. You might invest $100 with the hope of making another 100. It's a one-to-one bet. You risk 1 unit to gain 1 unit. The wealthy don't play that game. They're looking to risk that same $100 for a chance to make $5,000, $10,000, or even more. One billionaire famously said he looks for bets where he can afford to be wrong 8 times out of 9, because the one time he's right, it pays for all the losses and then some. This is why their decisions can look so audacious from the outside, but to them, it's not a gamble. It's a calculated, mathematical advantage. They aren't trying to predict the future. They're trying to position themselves so that no matter what the future holds, the odds are overwhelmingly skewed in their favor. It is a fundamental shift in mindset. Stop looking for coin flips and start looking for levers. The second tactic is strategic patience. We live in a world that glorifies speed. Move fast, break things, get it done yesterday, but the wealthy often play a much slower game. This isn't because they're naturally more patient people. It's because they understand that in the world of high-stakes decisions, time is a form of leverage. Every extra day, week, or month they wait gives them a strategic advantage. With more time, they gather more information, uncovering details others miss. New and better options often emerge that weren't visible at the start. The initial risks tend to decrease as uncertainty fades. And most importantly, they gain clarity, allowing them to see the situation without the fog of urgency. They don't fear waiting. They fear moving too soon. A very successful entrepreneur once explained it perfectly. He said most people make mistakes not because they want actual progress, but because they crave the feeling of progress. They want to feel like they're doing anything, just to ease their anxiety. The wealthy resist this urge. They wait, they watch, they analyze, and then, when the moment is undeniably perfect, they move with absolute speed and conviction. While everyone else is reacting to the present, they are positioning for a more favorable future. Patience isn't passive. It's a weapon. This leads us to the third core principle, a deep fundamental bias toward ownership. Most people are taught to work for money. You trade your time and skills for a paycheck. The wealthy avoid this trap. Instead, they focus on making money work for them. And the primary way they do this is through ownership. Ownership is the engine of wealth creation. They don't just want a slice of the pie. They want to own the bakery. They accumulate assets that produce value, whether they are actively working or not. What do they own? They own businesses that generate profits. They own real estate that provides rent and appreciation. They own intellectual property like patents or copyrights that create royalties. They own systems that operate automatically. And most critically, they own equity, a piece of the underlying value of an enterprise. Why is this so crucial? Because effort pays you once. You do the work, you get paid. But ownership can pay you forever. It compounds. The income from an asset can be used to buy another asset, which generates more income, creating a snowball effect. This is why the wealthy will almost always choose equity over a higher salary. A salary ends the moment you stop working. Ownership keeps working for you, day and night. The goal isn't just to earn. The goal is to own. Now let's talk about the mind. The fourth tactic is developing emotional distance. The wealthy understand that emotion is the enemy of good decision-making. This doesn't mean they are cold, unfeeling robots. It means they have trained themselves to separate their feelings from their financial choices because they know that emotion is expensive. They learn to detach from the powerful psychological forces that derail most people. When the market is crashing and everyone is consumed by fear, they see a fire sale. When the public is clamoring for a hot new trend, they feel skeptical. They don't seek social approval for their decisions, and they train themselves to handle the panic that comes with a potential loss. This emotional detachment gives them immense clarity. It allows them to operate on logic when everyone else is driven by instinct. It's the reason they can confidently buy assets when others are desperately selling in fear, and why they can quietly exit their positions when the party is at its loudest and everyone else is jumping in with excitement. They understand that the biggest opportunities are often found in the gap between public perception and underlying reality. To access that gap, you have to be able to think when others are only feeling. Finally, the fifth tactic is about creating controlled environments. The wealthy are masters of designing their surroundings to foster success. They understand that willpower is a finite resource. Instead of relying on discipline alone, they build environments that reduce chaos and make good decisions almost automatic. They deliberately eliminate noise, whether it's literal noise or the psychic noise of constant notifications and media alerts. They cut out distractions that pull them away from their core objectives. They avoid drama and unpredictable people who drain their energy and introduce unnecessary risk. Their environments, their homes, their offices, their social circles are intentionally curated to support their goals. Psychologists call this choice architecture. It has the idea that you can design your surroundings in such a way that the best choice becomes the easiest choice. You engineer your world so that success becomes the default path, not a constant uphill battle. They build systems where good decisions happen with minimal friction, and bad decisions become difficult, if not impossible, to make. It is a powerful realization. It is easier to change your environment than it is to change your fundamental nature. Discipline is important, but a well-designed system beats raw discipline every single time. So, in the end, it's not about having more money to begin with. The wealthy don't win just because they're smarter or luckier. They win because they use a specific set of psychological tactics that consistently multiply their good decisions and systematically eliminate the bad ones. They play a different game, guided by a different set of rules. Wealth doesn't start in your bank account. It starts in your mind. It starts with your psychology.